Hello guys, what's up? My name is Hollow, and today we are building with the high school years expansion pack. So first thing I'm going to say is this, while we are building with the high school years expansion pack, this is not a high school years base game only build. Absolutely not. No way in hell. That's really hard and I am not up to it. So basically this is just a build where I'm just making the house I want basically, and the only points where you get to see a lot of high school year stuff is when we get to the kids' bedrooms, because like that's what the majority of this pack is. This pack is high school stuff and high schoolers' rooms. That's pretty much it. So that's sort of where you get to see the most of the stuff. Like I do try to use it through the rest of the house. Like they have some of the stuff in the living room and like in the halls and stuff like that. But it's just there's just not a lot. It really is a bedroom focused pack with like a couple things for the school. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But that was the first thing I wanted to say. But also I wanted to say that like I did really enjoy this pack, like building with it, even though like I was disappointed that there weren't other items to use, but like that was to be expected. It's not like they let us down in what we should have or anything like that. Like they gave us a lot of good items, and I do really like all the items that I used. It's just like I wish there was a little bit more. Like I always wish there's more, but like the stuff I wanted, like I wanted to furnish my bathroom with Art Deco stuff, because like that Art Deco sink they gave us, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, but there's nothing to go with it in that bathroom, which really sucked. So I was like trying to pick other stuff from other packs to use, but so like I wish I had stuff like that, but like what high school has a bathtub? Like that's just not a thing. So it's whatever. Like it's understandable that we didn't get those things, but it did kind of suck. But that's sort of the build stuff I want to talk about. There is one thing that I want to mention now, because I probably won't remember it when it actually comes up in the video. I might like mention it and be like, oh, that's the thing I was talking about earlier. But basically when we get to the youngest kid's room, Hatak's room, which is like the green room, you'll know it when you see it. We used the furniture that I call the classic style. I don't actually know if that's what that style is called, but they're like all wooden furniture, right? And it's like wooden and sort of blocky, right? And I was super disappointed to find out the bed swatches don't match the other swatches in the pack. Like they look similar, so like when I open them up in my build video, because like if you saw my build video, I didn't open up everything all together. I did it like section by section. So I went through all the beds and chairs, and I went through all the tables, then I went through like yada yada yada, whatever, right? So when I got to this one, like when I actually was building with it, and I put a bed next to the dresser, and like they didn't have the same wood swatch, that was so disappointing and like really upsetting, because they're very close, but they're not the same. And that ticked me off to no end, because it's like that's the thing that's so annoying about this pack, is because Maxis does stuff, well, not Maxis, yeah, I guess Maxis, since the way Maxis builds their items is different from the way CC creators do it. Because like with CC creators, they usually make a bed frame and a mattress, right? So you can put whatever style mattress you want onto whatever style bed frame you want. But with EA, your mattress is tied to your bedspread. I mean, your mattress is tied to your bed frame. So if there's a specific spread you want, you're stuck with whatever the bed frame is, right? So that's what happened in Hatak's room, because like I wanted to give him the bed that had like the basketball player on it, right? And there's only one swatch that has that comforter on it, and it's like this light wood color, right? And when I first used it, I was like, oh, that's fine. There's another, like, the rest of the set has this color. It's totally fine. But no, the rest of the set doesn't have that color. The rest of the set has a brown that's very similar, but not the same. So you will see that when we get to his room. It is a little bit off, and it bothers the hell out of me. But other than that, I didn't have any problems with this pack. All my other building stuff was totally fine. I love everything else. All the other items are great and amazing, and I love them. But yeah, that was disappointing. But anyways, what I want to talk about now is like, that's pretty much all I'm going to say about the build, because I don't know how to talk about builds. We go through this dilemma every single time I do a build video or a cast video. I'm like, I don't know how to talk about it. Like, I don't know how to sit here and talk about what's going on in the video. So we're not even going to do that, okay? We're just going to start talking about other stuff. So I want to give you guys an update on everything that's been going on. So first of all, the videos have been a little sporadic since I got back from my break, just because my schedule has been sort of all over the place. Because I'll talk about it more in depth later, but I've been dealing with getting a new job, right? And so my schedule has been sort of all over the place because I didn't really know what was going on and stuff like that. But also last weekend, we had a flood in my basement, so that sort of messed me up a lot as well. And we are still dealing with that a week later. We're still drying out the rooms and trying to salvage stuff. It's like it wasn't like a terrible flood. It wasn't like a foot of water or anything. It was only a couple inches, like maybe 2 inches. But it was like half of our basement, and it was the half of the basement where my parents' office and all of our old files and all of our storage and our guest room with our antique furniture. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff that we had to pull out and try to clean up and everything. And like we're still trying to dry stuff out, so it's still a big mess. And like it's just it's a lot. But basically my schedule has been sort of all over the place. So videos have been a little sporadic. And I've mentioned in the like descriptions below the videos that I'm not sure exactly how my schedule is going to be yet because I'm still working out my new work schedule and everything. But I did my first week at my new job this week, and it seemed like I have a very regular schedule now. It's not like my old job where I never knew when I was going to finish. Like I know I finish at 4 o'clock every day, so that's great for me. And so I know I get home like 4:30, 4:45, somewhere in there. So I can set up a decent schedule. So what I'm going to try to do is get back to Wednesdays and Sundays. That's my usual schedule. So usually what I do, well, what I was doing right before break was I was doing a mod video on Wednesday and a build video on Sunday for my save file. So that is sort of where I'm going to head back to. But like the high school year stuff, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that yet. Like, I don't know if those are going to be my Wednesday and Sunday videos until I'm done going through the pack, or if I'm going to add those in as extra. I really don't know yet, just because, like, there's still a lot I have to do with cleaning up my basement, and, like, there's just a lot of personal stuff I have to deal with right now with, like, switching jobs, like, dealing with my insurance and all that stuff. Just adulting, right? So, it's all that stuff I have to deal with. So I'm not entirely sure of when, like how much I'm going to be able to do, and like if I'm going to be able to get more than 2 videos out a week, because that's what I would ideally like to do, right? Is to get my mod video, my build video, and a high school years video out every week. But I don't know if that's going to happen. So we'll aim for Wednesdays and Sundays, and maybe we'll get a little bit more if I can fit more time in. But that's the goal, is to get back to doing Wednesdays and Sundays. But yeah, there's that. So yeah, I wanted to actually tell you the story of my job hunt, because I was gone for like a full month basically dealing with this job hunt, right? And so basically I've mentioned before, like I know I've mentioned my job in previous videos, but I don't think I mentioned just how bad it was and what all the issues at my job were. So I'm going to give you a rundown of that before I explain how everything came to an end and how I got my new job and all that. So basically, I've worked in this bakery for almost a year, right? I work in the bread department, and I've worked in this bakery before. I started in this bakery working on the pastry shift, and I worked there for I think 4 or 5 months, something like that. And then I left to go back to a different job because they offered me more money, but things just didn't work out there. And so when I left that job, I came back to the bakery because my first time there, I really liked it. I liked the shift I worked on, I liked the people I worked with. And when I came back to the job, the pastry shift had been closed down because they were just too understaffed to keep it open. But they had plans to reopen it eventually, right? So I came in under the sort of agreement that I was going to start on bread shift, and then when pastry shift came back, I would switch to pastry shift. So, knowing that, I started on bread shift. I really liked it. My coworker was amazing. Absolutely loved her. But again, like we were super understaffed, not just in pastries, across the entire restaurant. So bread shift is supposed to have like 4 people on it, and it was just me and my coworker. So yeah, we were running at half staff, like half, and like we were doing very well. The two of us worked really well together. We both had like the same sort of work ethic, where we come in, we get our job done, we get out. We're those sort of people. So for us, like we worked well together. Everything was good. Like she's super funny, and like I'm very quiet, especially like in real life. I'm very quiet. I don't really talk that much, but she's super funny and loud and outgoing. So we just like we went well together. It was fun. But we were working, and just like as things went on, because I was working bread shift, I was now there during the day instead of at night, because with pastries we work overnight so that the donuts are as fresh as possible in the morning, right? But with bread shift you just work during the day. So when I was overnights, I didn't have to deal with any of the managers. I never had to see them, never had to deal with them whatsoever, right? The only person who dealt with the managers was our supervisor for the shift. But for me, when I switched to breads, I was actually around the managers, and I actually saw the managers more, and I saw how little they seemed to care about our department. Because the bakery is extremely important to our restaurant, because we have a cafe attached to our restaurant. That's where we sell all our donuts and all our breads, our cookies and pies and cakes and everything like that. So it's a very big part of the store. Our bakery is very popular. And like the restaurant's okay. Like the restaurant's sort of a tourist attraction because it's an Amish style restaurant. So it's a sort of a tourist attraction. When people want to try Amish food, they come to our restaurant basically. But so the cafe is actually really popular because like we make good cafe products. We've got a good bakery. But so the cafe is where like we get most of the money, meaning the bakery makes most of the restaurant's money. But we seem to be the manager's last priority at every turn. So they were never coming back to check on us. They were never taking care of us. We had broken equipment. And I literally heard my manager say to my coworker's face that we are the last priority when it comes to maintenance. And it was like, dude, I am working with an oven that turns off after cooking for an hour. I'm working with another oven that literally only cooks on the bottom half. You cannot use the top half of the oven. It does not cook. So that's what I'm dealing with every day, and I'm trying to put out all of the bread for your restaurant, your cafe, and your hotel with that. And you're telling me I'm the last priority for you when your bakery makes all of your money, but we're the last priority. And literally all of our equipment is broken or on its way to being broken. And it was really bad. And they never came to check on us. They never actually looked at what we were doing. Like something my parents have always told me is you get what you inspect, not what you expect. And they never inspected anything. They never looked in our area. They never watched what we were doing. They never saw how we worked. So like we had a day, like every day of the year, like not every day of the year, one day every year they have a day called cleaning day where you go through and you clean everything in the restaurant. And they didn't bother to like ask us how we wanted stuff redone. The managers just came in and changed stuff however they wanted. So stuff that was important for us to be in a certain position, they would move it because they didn't like it there. Because one thing that my manager, like my specific manager, said is that it gave her anxiety for it to look a certain way. And I was like, well, that's where we need it. Like that's the only place it works for us. But she didn't care about that. And that was one of the many things that made it hard to work there. And so it was just stuff like that that was constantly building up. And then sort of towards the end, there were a lot of issues with money where we found out that new coworkers that were being hired in were making more than $1 more than people who had been there for a long time. Like specifically my one coworker, she'd been there for 3 years. And the girl who got hired a couple months after me, made a full $1 more than she did when she'd been there for 3 years and she'd literally ran an entire shift by herself. And that was just not okay. And she specifically tried to talk to the managers a lot. She tried a lot of different avenues to talk to them, and they just never listened to her. And so she eventually quit. And that left me alone by myself running that entire bakery. And as I told you before, the bread shift was meant for 4 people. It's meant to be run by 4 people, and it's now being run by just me. So, yeah, it was really hard. And so I decided to, I tried to push through it, but I decided in my head, I need to get a new job, right? So I started looking for a new job, and at first I was just sort of doing it, I had decided to look for a new job before she even quit, because I realized that I just didn't like the environment anymore. I couldn't deal with the managers. But at that point, I was doing it very casually. It was just when I had time, I'd look into it. But when she quit, I could not stay there any longer because it was going to be hell for me every day. So that's when I decided to take a break from YouTube and take like my month off. Well, I didn't know it was going to be a month off. I just took time off to finish basically. But it ended up taking about a month for me to find a new job. So I spent that month where every day I got up, I did my job search, I went to work, I came home, I did job search again, I relaxed for like an hour, and then I went to sleep. That was like pretty much my day, every day for that whole month, really. And there were a lot of applications I did, and they just didn't go anywhere. I never got a response, never got anything. And it was really hard because I was trying to be more specific with my job. I didn't want to just jump into something else that was going to end up the same way as this job had been, or something I was okay with at the beginning, but then it just sort of fell apart after a couple of months. I wanted a job that was actually sustainable for me, something that I could actually do and enjoy, or at least be okay with doing and not have to quit, you know? So I wanted to get a job that was not factory work, which is hard in my area. In my area of rural Ohio, it is a lot of factory work. So it was hard to sort of avoid that. But I didn't want to do fast food because like just the service industry just isn't for me. Like, I mean, like working back of house is fine, but front of house, like actually having to be dealing with customers every day, I can't do it because I can't deal with Karens and Kevins. I can't do it. I can't. I will break down and cry, and I don't want to do that. So I just was not going to deal with it. So I avoided fast food. I didn't go to any like stores or anything like that. So all of that was off the menu, and that's pretty much the majority of the jobs in this area. Other than that, it's really hard to find stuff like because it's specialized work because we have a lot of elderly in this area. So you'll have home living and like a lot of medical stuff, but like I'm not certified for any of that. I'm not qualified for any of that. I don't really want to do any of that. So it was just a really hard job search. It was really hard to find something that I wanted. But I kept applying to stuff for like the whole time, and just while that was happening, things at work were just getting harder and harder because it was just like people kept leaving because like people have been leaving since I got hired. People have been leaving the restaurant constantly. So people in our department started leaving. They were asking me to still do things as if I had another person there to help me. So like they were expecting me to still do the work of my coworker and me, but she was gone. So it was just me now, and they expected me to get everything done. And so it was really hard. I was working a lot of 10, 11, 12-hour days, and it was just not something sustainable for me. And so eventually I got to the point where it was pretty much a month in. It was like 4 weeks in, and I had a day where I took off for a day because I had to, like, I had health, I had like an issue. I had to take off basically. It was personal reasons I had to take off. But the next day when I came back in, they had done absolutely nothing. None of the other shifts had done anything to help with my stuff. So they'd completely left my stuff untouched, and so none of them had done anything, and they just cleared out all my freezer stocks. So there was nothing. There was no bread in the restaurant. And so I had to make all the bread for the next day, the next day. I had to make my restock for the freezer of what they had taken. I had to make my restock for the weekend because that day happened to be a Wednesday, and Wednesday was when I make my freezer stock for the weekend. So I had to make all of that in one day. So it was like a 12-hour day, and it was horrible. I'm like halfway through the day, I just decided I'm done. I cannot do this anymore. So I went to my manager, the manager that was on duty that day, who was like my favorite manager of the ones I had. But I went to talk to him, and I was just like, I'm sorry, I have to leave. I can't do this anymore. And he started giving me the whole spiel, saying like, oh, we're trying really hard, and the other managers, they really care, and they're trying to get more people hired in, and we're trying to get you some more help. And like, we really care about you guys, and we really appreciate everything you do in the bakery. And I was like, well, I mean, I didn't say this to him because like it's just not in my character to do that. But in my head, I was just like, no, you guys don't care because you've shown me that you don't care. I've worked for you for almost a year, and never once have I gotten any appreciation from you. You've never stopped and said, hey, Jessica, you're doing a good job. Hey, like, do you need some help with this? Ever since my coworker quit, I hadn't been offered help once. The managers had not come back to check on me once since she quit. And like, I was one person running a 4-person shift, and they hadn't come back to check on me even once. So I was done, and I did not care. So I told him I would finish out the week, but that was it. And when I went home that night, it was really scary because it was like I wasn't going to have a job in 2 days. And I was like, okay, what do I do now? But thankfully, I had already booked an interview with a job that Thursday morning. So Thursday morning, I went to my interview and everything went really well. I was so sure that I got it. They didn't offer me the job at the interview, but I was like, they gotta offer me it. Like, they liked me. They really liked me. I know they did. And so I was really hyped. I was really excited for it. And like, I went to work, and like halfway through the workday, like around like 2 or 3 o'clock, they called me and they were like, hey, we want to offer you the job. And I was like, thank God. Yes, I was so scared I wasn't going to have a job next week. I was so scared I was going to have to go and drive to McDonald's and to sign up there because I needed money. But I was like, nope, I got it. I'm good. So yeah, I got my new job. And so I finished out the last 2 days at my job, at my old job. I had a week off with no working because I had to do like paperwork and stuff for my new job before they would actually let me start. And then I started my new job this week, and it went great. So my new job is sort of like an art teacher. This position is called an art teacher, but it's more like an art advisor, because I'm working with people with developmental disabilities. And basically, there's a gallery in the city that I'm working in, and the gallery sells the participants' artwork. So they make their art in the back of the gallery and then sell it in the front. And my job is essentially to run the gallery, but also to be there for the participants while they're there and sort of guide them through their projects, help them with their projects. And then occasionally I'll have to teach them stuff. Like we'll have like small lesson plans for like once or twice a week. I have like an actual subject I'm supposed to sit down and teach them. But for the most part, I am just there to sort of advise them on their projects and give them points and stuff and sort of push them in a direction. So like, for example, we have a couple of people that just like to sketch a lot. They spend most of their time just sketching. So it'll be part of my job to try to push them to make an actual final piece that we can sell in the store. So that's stuff like that I'm going to be doing. But so far, I really love it. It's only my first week. So like, I don't have a full range of the job yet. And like, I haven't gotten to do it by myself yet, because eventually this will be something where I'm running it by myself. But right now, while I'm in training, I have someone with me, so that makes it a little easier. But there's a lot of stuff I still have to learn on it. But so far, I really love it. The participants are all wonderful. They're all very sweet. So it's really exciting, and I'm really happy with it so far. So it's really great, and I felt like so much lighter since I got this job. Like my whole mood is up so much further. I just feel so much better every day. So that's really great. But yeah, so that's sort of what happened with my job. That's what's happened with me for the past month. That's where I've been. That's what I've been dealing with and why I haven't been making videos. But now that I'm back, I am going to try to get to my 2 videos a week, and I'm going to try to keep up with that. Oh, I'm doing the thing I talked about earlier. This is the room I was talking about where the bed doesn't match the dresser. Like, you can see it right there. The swatches do not match. Like, they're close, but they don't match. And there's no matching set between those two. None of their colors match. And it makes me so mad. But anyways, that's my only complaint for the back. Again, that's the only thing I had. That's the only issue I had with this whole build. So, I mean, pretty good. But anyways, the plan for now is like, I'm going to try to get back to my 2 videos a week, and hopefully I'll get some more in. But things are kind of slow. Like, for right now, I didn't get a lot done this weekend because I didn't feel very well this weekend. Like, I felt very sluggish all weekend. It's been hard for me to sleep all weekend, so I haven't really gotten a lot of sleep. Plus, like, I don't know if you guys can tell, because I don't think I really sound that bad right now, but I've been sick for the past couple of days. I think it's just like a little cold or something, just because like I changed jobs, so I'm working around new people, new environment, new city actually. So it's just like, I think I just got a little cold just from switching. But it's just like my throat's been a mess, and like my nose has been so stuffy. So like you might hear a little bit of it, but I don't think it really comes across that badly. But yeah, so I've been a little sick. I just haven't been feeling great, so I haven't done a lot of recording. So I really I just did this video, and like it's already Sunday night, so I don't really have time to record anything else for today. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get some stuff up. I hopefully I will be moving on to like, I want to try to get 3 videos a week, like, because I want to get a high school years video on top of my other videos, but I'm not gonna promise that yet, not until I'm sure that I can handle it. But yeah, so that's the plan, but not quite there yet. Well, anyways, that's sort of where we are right now. So one thing I did want to say is I want to say thank you for more people subscribing. We've gotten a lot of people recently, because like I think in my not my anniversary video, like I think in my anniversary video I mentioned that we were at like 80 or 90 subscribers, something like that. We were almost at 100, and by the time I posted that video, or by the time I checked the video for the first time, I don't really remember. Recently, after that video went up, I hit 100 subscribers, which was awesome. It was like so big for me. I never thought it would happen. But I'm already at like almost 150. Like I checked my subscribers earlier today and I was at 148. So like, thank you guys for just showing up and being interested in my stuff. But yeah, so I don't really know what else to say. I only have like a minute left, and I don't know what to say, and that makes me so mad, because I thought I had it. I was so hyped. I was like, I've got plenty to talk about. It's gonna last me the whole video. We're so good. And like in the last minute, it falls apart. I have nothing else to say. So yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. There will be more high school year stuff coming. Again, it's not gonna be like a full series or anything. It's just gonna be sort of review stuff. So I think what we're planning on doing is, we have 2 teams in this family that we built for. That is Talako and Issei. So Talako will probably be going down the rebel route, so we will see how easy it is to get expelled with him, and then Issei will be going for the model student route. So with her, we will see how hard it is to become valedictorian. But that is pretty much the plan, and those are probably the next videos that are coming out. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!